Ahunna, thanks so much for being with me today at Unstoppable Africa.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so as a UNDP leader, I want to ask you this question. It's very important. What would you say we can do to make Africa more competitive and more unstoppable?
Well, I think today we're talking about, first of all, changing the narrative of the continent. We need to get the world to believe that Africa is capable and Africa is unstoppable. So confidence, I think the confidence, growing the confidence of the Africans to stand up for themselves, changing the narrative to make people understand that there's a lot of opportunity on the continent, that it isn't all risks, because when people think of, especially investors, when they think of Africa, they think risk, no-go area. But I think what Gabi has been proving over the last 3 years that we've been having this platform is that Africa has as much opportunity, if not more, than anywhere else in the world.
Yes. And the growing youth population.
Yes, we have huge talent. It's a very young region, and this talent is just ingenious. We have seen it throughout COVID when everyone thought Africans were going to die.
Yes.
Like flies.
And
African youth innovated, right, to support the continent's recovery.
Yes.
So I think the whole need to believe in Africa, to believe that this is a destination worth investing in, not as charity.
We need to stop talking about Africa, the risk and the potential. People have said even during the panel discussions that stop talking about potential. Africa is now. Africa is here, and we just need to be more competitive. We need the more resources, like you said.
Exactly. So. We need to invest in that talent.
Yes.
I mean, there is enormous talent.
Yeah.
And this talent is being put to use, actually. You see all kinds of initiatives. I think what's exciting, really, about this generation of Africans we're talking about, they want to solve problems.
Yes.
Because they have experienced this problem. So it's personal,
yes,
as well as being business, you know? And when you have that combination of a personal drive to change the circumstances where they're coming from and a desire to create wealth and spread that wealth, it's magic.
It is. Yeah, so I appreciate your answer, changing the narrative. As a journalist, I strive to do that all the time.
Good for you.
Storytelling. But when also speaking about making it personal, tell me more about your vision that you called Africa's Promise. What is that about?
Yes, when I took up this position as head of the Africa Bureau for UNDP, really one of my commitments, one of the promises I made to myself was that I was going to work on people understanding the strength, the resilience, the talent of this continent. And how do we do it? Through our programming. And so the first thing I had my staff do was change all cover pages of our reports that showed a beggarly, weak, miserable Africa. And start to portray, and this is not fiction, we actually didn't have to go far to find images that represent the Africa we want to see, the Africa of the future and now, and to portray these images of strength, of resilience, and of talent. And that immediately changed our own energy. You kind of get boosted when you realize that there is hope and that you can invest in that hope.
You have to change it from within in order to push the narrative out.
Exactly. So we changed the lens with which we have viewed Africa, from that of a problem to a promise.
Nice. I love that. From a problem to a promise, and that's what you call the Africa's Promise. In your perspective, when someone's looking to invest in Africa, what would you advise them to invest in? What business, what industry?
Timbuktu. Today we're talking about this initiative that UNDP powers, which is called Timbuktu. And it is really the largest initiative to boost the innovation ecosystem, to support Africa's innovation ecosystem. We don't think, as development practitioners, we are quite clear that you need innovation. You need to crowd in the new technologies, whether it's AI or other types of technologies that will help us accelerate transformation on the continent, but also make development more inclusive.
Yes.
It's a continent with 70% young people, and they are the ones who are tech savvy. They are the ones who are digital natives.
They're the future.
Yeah, and then we leverage that expertise that is almost organic with them to start to pipe that into the way we do development and to then bring capital to move in that direction. Capital has been flowing in terms of development assistance and investments, but not necessarily in the right direction, not necessarily to those things that boost private capital market and boost opportunity for young people. So Timbuktu comes on board to do just that by raising $1 billion to support over 10,000 startups over a period of time to create value, 10 times value, but also create jobs. We want to grow gazelles and unicorns, and these are the things that will affect economies at scale. All right. So my contribution, along with my team, is
team of 4,000 people. In 46.
Right. I mean,
African
we do
countries?
many things. You know, we do work on environment, we work on governance, because governance is critical, right? You need the right leadership to create that enabling environment for our young people to grow their talent and to deliver value to their communities. So UNDP is also working, and I invest a lot as the head of the Bureau in making sure that we have institutions that have integrity, that we can nurture a governance system that has that is just, that is accountable, that's transparent, and it isn't all about elections. You know, we're working on institutional integrity so that these institutions can favor the kind of life that Africans are wanting to see for themselves.
And
then Timbuktu is just one of the instruments that we're using to crowd in support, capital, mentorship, technical assistance. A lot of people are telling me these young founders are not actually just looking for money.
Mentorship.
For a relationship. Relationships
and that's
with
where
bankers,
Timbuktu comes in.
with lawyers, with entrepreneurs, with universities, with government policymakers, that all of that is ecosystem. Yeah? And that's what Timbuktu is trying to boost.
Yes, you're bridging that gap with Timbuktu and with a lot of all of your other work with UNDP.
Right.
So, personally speaking, what is your commitment to making Africa more unstoppable?
So, you know, I grew up in Nigeria. That's my home country. I was educated in Nigeria. Everything that I am, I think, was sown in my country, Nigeria. And that has actually given me the confidence to believe that Africans are capable, because I was able to leave my country, come here and compete with the best in the institutions here. So the potential, it's beyond potential. We have the ingredients to make an influential continent that not only solves its own problems but contributes also to the world. And my own personal commitment is at my desk, wherever I find myself in terms of influence, to globalize Africa's voice and let the world touch base with its strength. So one of the things that I created when I started this job was a group that I call the African Influencers for Development. And the intention was really to say to the world, we have Africans who are investing their own personal time and resources to lift the continent up, and we need to celebrate them on a global stage so that we're creating role models for the coming generations, and we're changing Africa's story. The reason why I think Africa is unstoppable is because Africans are unstoppable.
Well said. Ahunna, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.